Yesterday, I forgot to tell you the whole thing about the whole story about this Satya Hind channel, which should be called a Satya Hind because they are not explorers of truth, they are explorers of lies. So when I saw their video on history, the motive seems to create conflict within India and divide it into further. So then I commented that when you have already taken a position, when you are seeing through your lens of prejudice, then it cannot be called a honest search for anything. You cannot be relied upon. Then when I commented first, when I clicked the comment section, then it was written that don't comment anything personal, don't use bad language, things like that. So you comment on the issue, not on person. So I didn't say anything about the person, but I commented on the topic. But the moment I commented, it disappeared. So these people, they are so dishonest. There must be something in YouTube that if they don't want certain comments to be there, then it will be removed automatically. So they are only in search of those people who believe in their lies. And if some people is commenting contrary to their belief, which goes against their belief, then those comments they don't want to be there because that may create doubts. So this is the kind of world we live in. You are only seeking people who agree with you. You cannot agree to disagree. Today in the morning I was listening to a video because I usually don't see much, I only listen. Video of StyleRug. Channel I think is called StyleRug. The man is Sandeep, I think. So it was a video that whatever is happening in Nupur Sharma's case today, and the kind of reaction of Muslim is same as it happened about 100 years back. And the way Mahatma Gandhi was appeasing them, the same kind of thing the Congress party and those party who are dependent on Muslim votes, the same kind of game they were playing then also, and now also the same kind of game is going on. In year 1924 or little before it, Muslims, Muhammaddas publishers or something like that, they published 3 books derogatory to Hindus, condemning Hindu religious leaders and their avatars. So these books were, one was Krishna teri Gita jalani hogi. That means Krishna, your Gita should be burnt. The second was Sita ka chanala, something like that. That I think can be translated as characterlessness of Sita. The third was Lampat Sant or Mahatma of 19th century. And that means lecherous saint of 19th century. Maharishi Dayanand Saraswati. So when they published these three books, in reply to these, one man, his name was something like Chamupati, M.N. Chamupati, M.A. Chamunpati, something like that. He wrote a book which was published by Rajpal publication, and he wrote the book on the condition that his name will never come out, otherwise that may create danger. So the publisher promised him that his name won't come out. So name of the book was Rangila Rasool. That means, like, you can translate it roughly as colorful messenger, not prophet. So then when this book was published, then the Muslims became very angry and they started creating noise and fury against this book. They wanted this book to be banned. So for 1 month the book was there, and it was within a month all the books were sold out. It was kind of pamphlet kind of book, small book. Then the Muslim became totally against it. They went to the court. They said that this book is creating enmity between two communities. So in the lower court, the decision was given in their favor. So this Rajpal, he went to the High Court of Lahore, and there the decision was in his favor. The court said that analysis of any prophet cannot be prohibited by the court under whatever section 155 or whatever. So otherwise no historian will be able to analyze any prophet. So then the Muslims started creating agitation and all kind of violent protest in the country. They started demanding for his head. And then Mahatma Gandhi, he wrote in his magazine Young India that they should punish this publisher on their own. So what he was meaning, that they should take the law in their own hand. And then he was inciting them to violence, to do violence. And later on, when the court decided against them, then also he wrote that if a person is not getting justice, from the court, then he should himself become a judge. So what he was meaning is that you take the law in your own hand, you do whatever you want to do, you kill him, you be violent. So it is so clear that this man was very successful in cheating Hindus. He was always writing in his magazine, Young India, newsletter or magazine, whatever it was, that if the Hindus should always observe non-violence, ahimsa, and they should not even do anything for their self-defense. And in this way, he reduced Hindus into weak, impotent kind of community. He made them a coward. Because if wrong things are done against you and you are not responding to it, then slowly you will become, your ability to respond to these things will become destroyed. And you will become a fearful community. But about Muslims, he was never telling these things. He was inciting them. He was telling them that take the law in your own hand. If justice is not done to you, then you become the judge. This man is very contradictory and very hypocritical. He is not a man who is neutral. Because he knew that Hindus can be cheated very easily. They can, if once you have this facade of appearance of a saint, then they will follow you. Whatever you say, they will follow you. And then he wanted to win the heart of Muslim also. And his ambition was to become the Mahatma for the whole country. And this was always his attitude, that whatever he was saying, he wanted that everyone should follow it without questioning it. A very dictatorial kind of man. So, and because of this kind of trying to it was very intentional what he was doing, this trying to incite the Muslims to do violence. It was very intentionally. And when the book was published, this book Rangila Rasul was published, he said that the publisher is doing it just to earn some money out of it. He is a very mediocre and mean kind of publisher. But when the Muslims had written 3 books against Hindus gods, then at that time he said that it is freedom of expression. And freedom of expression and creative freedom cannot be denied. So if you observe him, then you can see that he is saying one thing to the one community, other thing to the other community. And this was his game. It looks so clear if you observe him that he was a Muslim. Maybe he was their paid agent. He was paid so much by the Britishers and by the Muslims, by the Christians, that he was hiding as a Hindu. And he was doing everything which was in the interests of the Muslims or Christians or the Britishers. So they must have promised him something. They may have paid him money, lot of money, the Britishers and the Muslims and the Christians. And there may be other things also. Maybe they had told him that they will make a saint out of him. That is what it is said, that some people are born great, some people achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. So he was of the third category. Greatness was forced upon him, because it was serving the interest of Christians also, of Muslims also, and of Britishers also. He was a very good buffer that the Britishers applied to absorb the shock that was given by those people who wanted to get freedom by violent means. So they knew how to plan thing and execute it well. So they projected him in such a way that he looked like a great saint. And once someone is projected as a great saint in India, then people will blindly follow that person. So all other people, those who were far more creative, far more talented, far more intelligent, they were reduced to non-entities, or their voice was curtailed, and it was reduced to such a level that the masses were not following them to that extent. And Gandhi was playing all kind of his mischiefs, his cunning and clever, mean games to reduce all other people who could have played a great role in the freedom of this country to not so valuable level. He wanted to project Nehru as the future Prime Minister. And when the Congress committee voted for it, that who will be the Prime Minister of India, independent India, about 15 votes were given to Sardar Patel. And Nehru either won one vote or not a single vote. But still, Gandhi forced it on the Congress committee that Nehru will be the Prime Minister. Because otherwise Nehru and his father were threatening all the time that they will dissolve this Congress party. So these people, those who were very selfish, very mean, very just seeking their own selfish interests, they became the architect of modern India. And then from the very beginning, wrong seed was sowed on the soil of this country, and that was the reason why there is so much corruption, there is so much rottenness in this whole system. Because these people never wanted India to grow, they wanted themselves to grow, they wanted themselves to remain in power by hook or by crook, and they wanted to keep this country backward. They were, from the very beginning, this slogan was given that they wanted to remove poverty, but they were never interested in this. And they were appeasing Muslims, and they were not even doing much for their development also. They didn't want Muslim to become very educated, very cultured. Then they could not be used for all kind of violence and riots Only if they remain uneducated or they are educated in madrasas, then only they can remain fanatic. So if you observe Gandhi very without having any belief, then you will find in everything he was not even an average person. Even an average person is not so partial about things. What to say about sages or saints. So, and if you see, he has all kind of diseases of the mediocre man, of a narrow kind of man. If any man or woman was not listening to him, then he will play all kind of very third-rate games. He will do everything to destroy their character in the eyes of people, which is simply unbelievable. That this man is regarded as a saint in India, as a Mahatma, and even people like Einstein had this illusion that he was such a great man that in the future generation people will be they would not even believe that such a man ever walked on the earth. I don't know why Einstein said this. Maybe he was also himself not a man of much understanding about human nature. He was a scientist, so he knew about objects and he knew about matter. But you cannot just rely on whatever he say about spirituality and all those things, because he himself said that I could know about when he was asked that if you get another chance or another life, will you like to be a physicist in the next life also? He said, no, not at all. I would rather like to be a plumber than to be a physicist, because I could know about the furthest star, but as far as my own self is concerned, I am as ignorant as any man. So you can say in a way he died a frustrated life. When he gave the secret of atom energy to American president, he warned him that this can be very dangerous. But when it was used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, then he felt very guilty about it. So he may be a great scientist, but he had no understanding what these politicians will do if you give them such powerful and dangerous secrets. They will use it for destruction. And this was the state of Gandhi also, that he wanted to lead the whole country. He wanted to take the responsibility of the whole country, that whole country should listen to him. But he was himself a man in darkness. It is like what Nanak, the great Indian mystic, said, that andha andha theliya dono koob padant. That means one blind man is leading the another blind man, and both have fallen down in the well. So because Gandhi became our architect, our role model, our leader, and he destroyed the possibilities of this country. Otherwise, if Subhash Chandra Bose or even Patel or any other person would have become the Prime Minister, first Prime Minister, India could have been maybe the most developed countries. But it's not that everything is lost now. Maybe now the time of India is coming. Hmm. So if you choose a wrong leader, then you will have a bad future and bad present both. And just to go back to the same story, so he said to the Muslim that if you are not given, if justice is not done to you, then you should become yourself a judge. You should take the law in your own hand. And the court cases went on, and then finally this publisher Rajpal Mahase, he was acquitted, he was discharged without any, all the accusation were removed from, and he was freed. But then Gandhi was inciting them. 2 attempts were made on his life, but they failed. One of the person who tried to kill him first was a rustler, but then he caught him and he handed over to the police. But on third occasion, there was one 19-year-old boy. He stabbed him with a knife 8 times, and then he died immediately. And at that time, Gandhi was in that place in Lahore where he was killed. And Gandhi did not even go to his house in condolence. This is what even now the people of Nehru family, they are doing all the time the same thing. They will always go to those places which are for them their vote banks. Like they will go to the house of Dalits, those who are backward, or to the house of Muslims if something happens. But they will not go to other Hindus, their houses. Because they go there only to, because they are like the vultures. Their eyes is always set on the vote of the people. So this is what Gandhi also did. If he was even little bit a man of heart, he would have gone to that family. But then the Britishers, they thought that the Hindus will revolt. They will so out of fear they hanged this man who killed the publisher Rajpal. Then after 2 days after this man was killed, hanged by the Britishers, Gandhi wrote that day was the dark day in the history of India. So he is taking side. He is supporting a killer, a murderer, and he had nothing to say about this publisher who was a great publisher. Even now this Rajpal publication is a very respected and reputed publishing department in India. They are very good publishers. But he is praising a man who was a killer. And this is what happened because for Muslims, murderers, rapists, killer, if they do something in the name of Islam, then for them, that person become a hero. He may be a hooligan, he may be just a criminal. But for them, that man becomes a great man. So, in his death ceremony, 600,000 Muslims gathered at that time. The population at that time of India was, I think, maybe 1/4 of what it is now. And the country was even far more bigger than what it is now, because at that time partition has not happened. So at that time 600,000 people gathered in his funeral. And then later on, after Pakistan became a separate country. Even now his graveyard is regarded as a religious place. And he is in the textbook of that country, of Pakistan. He is regarded as the slayer of infidel, honorable slayer of infidel, a shaheed, a martyr, a protector of Islam. It is like a criminal gang when they are able to kill a good man. Then for them that man has to be celebrated. But because Nehru and his party ruled India for about 60 years and around 60 years after independence. So all those people who really mattered, who were great people, they were reduced to nothingness. So this Rajpal, he is not taught in India at all. I will send you the picture of both the boy who killed Rajpal and Rajpal's picture, and you will see that Rajpal looks so dignified, so he has his very nice aura and very impressive person. And this boy, though he is just a 19-year-old, he looks like a third-rate kind of man who has no aura at all, nothing beautiful about that boy. But if you are a blind person, you cannot see who is to be praised and who is to be condemned. And I am reading a book on Gandhi at present. One of the Western women, when she met Gandhi, she said that I had an idea about him, but when I saw him, he looked the most ugliest person I have ever met. And when he smiled, he looked even more ugly. But it is such a miracle that if anyone is promoted by the government, promoted by the whole world because of their vested interests, then that man, you can make him into even God. Gandhi, just 10 years before, he was almost like on the pedestal of God. Now he slowly is coming down very much now. People have not much respect for him, even in India. Most of the people don't respect him. This Nupur Sharma's case had once again proved very clearly what George Bernard Shaw said, that the followers of Islam are the worst. And they are the worst enemy of their own religion. Whatever they have written in their hadith and whatever their priest and mullahs goes on saying, it can appeal to only those people who have a sick mind, who have retarded mind. Otherwise, what they are saying about their prophet and what they are saying about their Allah, even they look like criminals or very pygmy kind of people, very small kind of people with all the diseases of a sick man. And the way they are behaving now, it cannot last. This religion will have its swan song very quickly. It cannot last for long, because they are very supremacist type kind of people, that we are the superior, we are the topmost. They are very exclusivist kind of people. They cannot include others. They don't know how to coexist. So these are the traits that will prove their doom, that will prove to be their debacle very quickly. Because if you don't know how to adjust, if you don't know how to be in harmony with other people, you are going to be, and everywhere there it is happening. They are like outcast now everywhere. No one wants to mingle with them. Everyone feels that these peoples are not worth, they cannot be relied upon. Just to give you an example, all my good friends in my childhood were Muslims. Even when I became old, a young man, then also most of my friends were Muslim, and I consider them one of the best friends. Just 3 days back, when I needed some help, and I asked one of my Muslim friend that I need your help, but without any condition. If you agree, say yes, or say no. But he didn't reply, because I sent him all the videos which reveals Islam, and now maybe he thinks I am a kafir, so I should not be in any way. He is becoming older, so he must be now becoming more and more greedy for heaven, because as you grow older, then fears start entering inside you. If you have been conditioned and programmed in that way, then you think, whatever I had to live in this world, whatever I had to enjoy in this world, I have already known all those things. Now after some time the death will come. So the fear is always there. If I don't please my God, then I will go to hell and it's eternal fire. And if I become an obedient servant, then I will land in heaven with all its joy, pleasure, which is nothing. Their heaven is just like a brothel. So he didn't reply. He had not even the guts to say, no, I will not help you. So this friend of mine, when he used to come, always we would spend about 3-4 hours a day, almost every day. Then he used to say he was very angry with that mullah who did his khatna. He said, if I meet him anywhere, I will beat him well. Because he thought that it has destroyed his sexual pleasure. And then he used to say that if I want to spit on Quran and then jump on it. But later on, if I would ask him that what is your opinion now, but now I don't think he will say the same thing, because you have to now, he has become more cunning and clever. He had to remain in that society. But though few months back I asked him that what you have gained out of Islam, he said nothing. So this is how we are. We are so dishonest. Even if we are not getting anything out of it, but still because of the fear and because of the greed and because of the desire to be respectable in society, because if you give up the religion, then you will be outcast. So they have to adjust in that kind of environment, though they are in hell. I was just listening to a show in the daytime, and he said that Islam has spread because it has forced people to convert into it. People have not accepted it willingly. And Christianity has spread because of its business mindedness, not because people have loved it. They give you these religions have always spread in those places which are uncultured and poor. So they offer them bread and butter and then convert them. Only Buddha's religion, people accept. In no other name you can be hypnotized and brainwashed in such a way as it happens in the name of religion. Now, whatever has happened in these few days is really miraculous. And the whole Muslim world wants to cut her head. For something which was just totally, which could have been totally avoided. It was absolutely insignificant. So we should choose our leaders very with lot of discrimination and alertness. Otherwise, if you choose a wrong leader, then even the destiny of a country can be destroyed. What to say about individuals? Collectively, you can be destroyed. So, because India chose a wrong man as its model, he should be called not. His name should now be changed from Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi to Muhammaddas Karamati Ghazi. Mohandas means servant of Krishna. Mohan is one of the name of Krishna. But in reality he is servant of Muhammad. So his name should be changed from Mohandas to Muhammaddas. And the second name is Karamchand. So I've changed it into Karamati. That means a man who does wonderful deeds, great things. These are his great things. All his dramatics, all his the kind of game he used to play. And Gandhi should be changed into Ghazi. Ghazi is one who sacrifices his life for Islam or who conquers for Islam, who is a jihadist. Okay. But in such a situation where there is no alternative, one has to do it. Otherwise, you have to always choose less evil. If you don't kill the criminals, they will kill more people. All this kind of goody kind of attitude is stupidity. Nothing else. If you allow them to have their way, then they will kill hundreds and thousands. They will rape hundreds of women. Why should that be allowed? I am sending you the picture of Mahatma Rajpal, who was the publisher, and the boy who killed him both. Okay?
Okay.
Have you seen the picture or not?
Yes. So this guy is This one with the turban is the journalist, is it?
What do you feel?
I think he's the journalist or Swami.
How he look to you?
The first guy look really intelligent and beautiful.
Very dignified.
Yeah, really intelligent and very beautiful. Like he really look like a king, Very good. He look good looking.
Integrated kind of person, a person who
Yes.
is a master.
Yes, very beautiful. He has really very beautiful. Looks really beautiful.
Because he was even asked for the out of court settlement also. That he was asked that you just give us the name of the man who wrote this book, Rangila Rasool, then we will free you. But he kept his promise. He had promised to the man who had written that I will never disclose your name. So he didn't disclose. So this man was a man of great integrity. He risked his life twice before he was killed, twice before also he was the attempt was made on his life. One person who tried to kill was a rustler whom he caught hold of and gave to the police. And one time another one saint was attacked because the killer thought that this man is Mahase Rajpal. He mistakenly attacked that saint. This saint survived because it was not a very not such a fatal attack. So after a few months he recovered. Twice this man, Mahase Rajpal, survived the attack, and then third time, this boy of 19 years, he stabbed him 8 times with a knife. Then he died.
The guy who stabbed him is the guy in the second photo, is it?
Third rate, and you can see that these people, they consider themselves very superior. And what kind of people they choose as their heroes, that reveals everything. This is the boy that is taught in their textbook, in their schools, that this is a man who has to be celebrated. His graveyard is regarded as some kind of religious place. So they are themselves their greatest enemy. They don't need any enemy from outside. And that will keep them always backward. They will never grow, because if you believe that the earth is flat, then you are going against science. This is what has happened with Galileo also.
Christianity also is as fanatic as Islam, but because of more than 2000 years of Christianity, it has become little less fanatic. Otherwise, in churches, the kind of torture they used to do is totally unbelievable. Many of their tortures things, they're so inventive about it. Even the traction, traction, which is used like your legs is pulled on some kind of rope, and if you have some spinal problem, then you are kept like that. But it was earlier a way to torture people. But someone was tortured in that way, and then his back pain was cured. So then the medical world took it as a cure for back pain. But that was in the beginning invented to torture people by the churches. So when Galileo declared that it is the earth that revolves around the sun, not the sun that revolves around the earth. Then he was called by the Pope, and he was made afraid. He was told that if you don't change your statement, then you will be in trouble. We will torture you to death. And Galileo was a very intelligent man. He understood that it is no point arguing with these idiots. So he said, there is no problem, I will change my statement. He changed his statement that it is the sun that revolves around the earth. But in the footnote he wrote that neither the earth reads my book nor the sun. So it is the earth that will go on revolving around the sun. They are not reading my book. So their heroes are those who are criminals. So they are themselves their greatest enemies. What? They don't need any enemy from outside. This boy has nothing at all, and you are celebrating him. You go to his grave. You are teaching him in your textbooks. That shows, and it is one of their great poets who first wrote national anthem for India, Sare Jahan Se Acha, Hindu Sita Hamara. And then he later on wrote the national anthem of Pakistan also. He went later to Pakistan. This man has written also, Mazhab nahi sikhata aapas mein bair rakhna. I have changed it. Mazhab hi sikhata aapas mein bair rakhna. That he said that the religion doesn't teach you to be inimical to each other. But it is because of these fanatic religion there is so much enmity. It is not. These religions are teaching how to treat other religions as enemies. And in reality, there cannot be many religions. Religion is only one. Like all the laws of nature is one for everyone. It's not that water will evaporate at certain degree in this place, at other place it will evaporate at other degree. It will evaporate only at the same degree everywhere. The law of gravitation is applicable everywhere. In the same way, there is only one religion. All these so-called religions are only ways. They are only road leading to a certain destination. Maybe some road is never leading you to that destination. Otherwise, religion is only one, and these are ways, these are kind of roads which lead you to that destination.